One of the most frequent comparisons in the dividend investing community is Verizon versus AT&T, and which telecom stock is the best. And to save your time and be completely honest, neither of them is. That's because telecoms have massively underperformed the S&P 500. But wait, before you click off the video, make sure to subscribe, because 86% of you guys aren't subscribed right now. But today we're going to be comparing Verizon and AT&T stock, their business fundamentals, financials, and so much more. And I'll say what company I think is a better long-term holding. With all that out of the way, roll the intro.
Hello, I like money.
To start off, we're going to look at the performance compared between Verizon and AT&T. We can see the performance of September 2021. Both stocks are down, with Verizon being down more at 24.1% and AT&T being down 18.3%. But you would be wrong if you think it's just recently that these stocks have gone down. We can see over the last 5 years, Verizon is down 16.14%. while AT&T over the last 5 years is down 29.1%. Now, keep in mind this is with the AT&T dividend cut, their acquisition of Time Warner, and so much more. And AT&T wasn't trading straight up as a telecommunications company as Verizon was, so you might want to keep that in mind while you look at this. But now, looking at the last 10 years, AT&T is down 27.85%, while Verizon is only down 11.41%. Keep in mind these are still terrible returns compared to the rest of the market. Also, of course, keep in mind past returns don't guarantee future returns. But at the same time, I think it is very important to look at and compare when looking at which company I'd rather buy. So for stock-based performance, we're going to give that to Verizon. Now let's look at the dividend, which is a huge thing for investors when they're looking at telecommunication companies. AT&T recently cut its dividend after the Warner Media spinoff. Combined with that, they've had very slow / lack of dividend growth in the last 5 to 10 years, so it comes out as negative on Seeking Alpha. Currently, they have a payout ratio of 40.96%, which is actually pretty sustainable. And I would say there's even a decent chance that AT&T grows their dividend in the next 5 years. Verizon has been growing their dividend for the last 18 years straight with a pretty conservative 5-year growth rate of 2.06%. They have a payout ratio 10% higher than AT&T's at 50% right now. Looking more at Verizon's dividend growth, they have a 1-year dividend growth rate of 1.97%, a 3-year dividend growth rate of 2.01%, a 5-year dividend growth rate of 2.06%, and a 10-year dividend growth rate of 2.45%. Obviously not very good compared to some of the other stocks that I own in my portfolio. AT&T's dividend growth rate isn't much better in the fact that they actually cut their dividend 2 years ago. Now we're going to take a look at each company's free cash flow growth. To start off here with AT&T, you can see that they've had pretty large and stable free cash flow. They've had a bit of a drop off in the most recent years because of the Time Warner spinoff, but no reason to be alarmed here, and it's pretty solid from what I see. With Verizon here, you see a lot of the same thing. Very solid free cash flow here. You saw they had a tiny decline back in those 2015, 2016 years, but have been solidly consistent and solidly growing since then. Both companies are pretty strong and I'd say equal in this department. Now we're going to take a look at the revenue of AT&T and Verizon. To start off here with AT&T, you have decent revenue growth here. Pretty stagnant. You've seen a decrease in the most recent years, obviously because of the spinoff of Time Warner. But obviously no crazy crash or whatever in revenue, which is nice to see with a telecommunications company because a lot of the investors are just in there for the stability. Now looking at Verizon, it's much more what I'd like to see, slow and consistent upward growth. But overall, I like Verizon's revenue a lot better than AT&T's. So here's my final conclusion. As I mentioned in the intro, I think that neither is the correct option here. Telecommunications have massively underperformed over the long term compared to the S&P 500 and any other index. But with that said, if I had to choose one of these, I would most likely choose AT&T, and here's why. With Verizon having the edge in free financials, free cash flow, and the dividend, I still am bullish on AT&T because I'm familiar with their business strategy and outlook over the next 10 years because I used to invest in them. I covered a lot of AT&T in my payday when I used to own a lot of it, and I think that both of these stocks are going to trade very similar. I think that AT&T has better growth potential in the future compared to Verizon, and I do believe even with AT&T cutting their dividend recently, they will be growing it considering their payout ratio is only 40%, and they are making capital expenditures at the moment. But me personally, I'm avoiding the telecommunications sector. It is way too slow. There's not enough growth for my liking whatsoever. There's not enough dividend growth. I'm very young. Right now, I'm looking for a lot of growth opportunities. And when I mean growth opportunities, I mean companies like Microsoft, Starbucks that are solid companies, not like stupid tattooed chef or whatever. In my opinion, Verizon and AT&T are dead money stocks. They're stocks that you put in with a nice dividend yield that you're going to be getting a solid payout every couple quarters, but that price ain't going to be doing too well. Let me know in the comment section what you think about telecommunication stocks in general and whether you'd own AT&T or Verizon. I'd like to hear. Share the video with a friend if you really want to help me out. Help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by subscribing. Thank you for making it to the end of the video, of course. Join the Discord link in the description, and of course, do dividend stocks, not drugs. Have a good day.